All right, gang, welcome back to our Island Preservation Challenge here on Ronida Island. It is February, and we got a couple things to do today. One, the worker is still kind of working on getting the stones up over there on that field for us, which is great. We're starting the process here of getting the oilseed radish plowed up. So these fields are prepped. This one here, the small experimental field, as we like to call it, and then obviously that cotton field over there to the right. And then, honestly, I'd like to start working on building a field out that way as well today, if at all possible. We did purchase that plot of land in the last episode. Didn't end up doing anything with it yet, but today is likely going to be the day where that happens. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to put in there yet. I've kind of talked about what the true plan is for that area up there, and that's kind of to take this field and expand it up that way, along with what is currently the knife field, which will turn into some other awkward shape. Expand that up against the hillside as well, eventually. Obviously, we don't have that big, massive hill plot of land yet, but soon enough we will. And, yeah, that's the main goal, at least, for that. But I'd like to at least start getting something going over there. We can probably put something in the ground there, too, since we recently just drilled this coastal cotton field, the initial coastal cotton field, and our knife field in the last episode, right? Since we just put that in there, we probably can go ahead and do something there as well. But what might be more beneficial for us to do first and foremost of that up there before we turn it into a field is to mow it up and collect some of that grass. As I've mentioned before, we are going to be moving the sheep once again. This will likely be the last time we move the sheep for this series, but we're going to move them to a much larger, grander area, which allows a lot more sheep, which in turn means we're going to need more grass, but also it's going to produce more wool for us, which can be utilized for clothes, which is going to help us, since that is our heavy focus here for this series, is clothes, right? So yeah, that's the kind of the next steps really for us, but yeah, I think mowing it first makes the most sense. Now, right now, we don't have any kind of mower of any sort. We do need to fit one. Now, we don't really have a whole lot of money. We've got $23,000, as you can see, so we don't have tons of money. So it's more than likely going to be something that we've utilized many times in the past. And I'm talking more about probably that sickle bar mower. I'm not quite sure there's going to be anything else we can do besides that. Maybe we can grab some kind of a front mower and then utilize the sickle bar mower as well on the backside. It's probably not going to help a whole lot, though, if we do that, because I think that front mower will probably be nearly the width to the right of where the sickle bar mower goes. We might be able to get another 1 meter, maybe, so it probably isn't really worth it. But we can look at it, right? We can look at it and take a peek and see, what's the best situation for us, of course. But first and foremost, personally, excuse me, gang, my sizes are acting up a little bit today. But first and foremost, for me, personally, I'd like to get these two fields and obviously the field over there that the worker is actively working on, getting the stones up. That is going to be the last stones we get, by the way. Turn stones off. We don't really need any more. When that worker's done there, obviously we can drill that field as well, right? So I'd honestly like to get these fields, have something put in them first and foremost, and then start working on the expansion out there. Doesn't really seem that realistic to me, or that, really probably shouldn't be going about working on an expansion when we have our own fields on the current setup that still need to be kind of worked, right? So that's going to be kind of the focus there. As we move forward, in the last episode I talked about this, I'm likely going to be utilizing a little bit more workers than I should. The rule says 1, but I did say at the very beginning of this series, since I'm on console, that I would be breaking a couple of the rules. One of those rules that I said I was going to break after we got a little bit further along was the worker cap. I probably won't go more than 2 workers, though, but we are going to break the worker cap, and it's going to be far and few between. It's only going to happen every once in a blue moon when we have so much to do that it's going to take 2 or 3 episodes in 1 month, right? So it's just going to help me in that sense. But turning the rocks off should absolutely help, right? That's one less thing we have to worry about, so that should absolutely help us as we move along here. One of the other things I said I would do is put auto selling on. I would turn auto selling on. We do have auto selling on right now, actually, on the 2 greenhouses we recently put in. That was an expansion we did recently. I was expecting to be able to pick those pallets up with the auto load trailer. There is now an auto load trailer on console that can be utilized. It's great. I love it. But it does not work. They're not base game crops, the melons, the watermelons, right? So it does not work. So for the time being, they are going to be on auto selling. Once we feel like we've justified getting enough money back from those greenhouses, I'm likely to get rid of those and make a modification to it. I'll probably put hydroponic greenhouses down, and then you know, we'll be able to utilize the auto load trailer to pick up some of those pallets. So that's really the biggest problem for me, was the picking up the pallets, right? I can pick them up by hand, but it's a bit of a nuisance, right? So having the auto load feature now is going to just help this series tremendously as we move forward, right? It's really going to help extend this series. Well, not extend this series, that's not the word. It's going to help speed the series up, I guess. I did not want the worker to work on it, so that's fine. So anyway, how's everyone doing today? Hope you're doing well. Things are all right. Things are all right. By the time this releases, I'm getting ready after this weekend, actually, to leave for that trip that I've talked about, that I've got with my wife and her family, other side of the family, really. The nieces and all that good stuff. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. I mean, it's going to the place that I don't really want to be at, but it'll be all right. So both these fields are drilled up. I don't know what I want to put in our experimental field, to be honest with you. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to put in there yet. That one we might actually hold off to put something in until maybe the next episode. Now, I will say the next episode, unless we do 2 in February here, I don't want a worker to do it. Unless we do 2 in February here. The next episode, actually, this won't be ready to harvest. Never mind. I was going to say I thought one of these looked pretty close, but they're not. They're probably going to have at least 1 more month. So, yeah, so we'll be fine. We'll be fine. We can hold off more than likely on doing that experimental field to the next one and focus on getting this one done, and obviously the one that the worker is getting the stones up on. We'll focus on getting both of these planted or seeded or drilled with something, and then work on doing the expansion of the newest field that we purchased, right? Now, for the sheep that I talked about, you know, for moving them over, they're going to be moved over near where the cows are. I just think it's a nice spot to put them over there, have all the animals kind of closer together. The true intent there is that I'm going to have the sheep kind of be up against the side of the hill, very similar to what we did with the cows, right? So we're going to utilize some space that otherwise we really wouldn't do a whole lot with unless we were chopping down those trees, and you've already seen that, right? We're kind of got the tree set up, or the sawmill, the forestry set up, whatever you want to call it, on the other opposite end of the island here, near where our dream home is going to be built, which is part of the rules, right? A lot of you had great ideas about that dream home. You said you don't even necessarily have to pull any of the land out if I utilize the bridge mod properly. You're all correct. You definitely can. Some of them I think you have to kind of place on top of each other. I do think it looks a little weird. I am going to try my best here to make it look as realistic as I can. I know that might sound weird to say something like that, but it's the truth. I want it to look pretty good. So we're going to focus on that and see how that goes as we move along here. But, yeah. All right, so let's see. What do we got? What can we do with this one? Because this field right here, I think, is going to be one we're going to put in. We're going to put in something that's not cotton. We already know that field down there on the end there that we just finished plowing is going to be cotton. We know that for a fact. Kind of keep this coastal cotton approach going here. Canola, maybe? I mean, that's really all we got in this one, right? We got the experimental spinach and that kind of stuff, but we could do wheat and stuff, but we already have a big, massive field of wheat. I truly don't think we're going to need more than that for both the chicken coops. Maybe we will, but for the time being, I'm going to act like I don't until we know for sure. I think we'll do canola over here, I think. The worker is nearly done. As a matter of fact, I'm going to unload this really quick. I'm actually going to put the worker on starting the coastal cotton, and I'm going to finish up the stones because the worker's just going to take a while with the stones there. I'm just going to finish that up. I'm going to likely need to move the eggs out of the way here soon as well. Those eggs are likely going to, well, it's going to pop up and say there's no more room to spawn any more eggs. So we probably need to move those soon as well. But yeah, my sinuses are they're just killing me this morning for some reason. I don't know what's going on, but it always seems to be spring and fall that they get to me. And I never used to have sinuses, man. I got old, and now all of a sudden I've got sinuses all the time. Now, one thing I would like to potentially do with this specific field, more specifically this field than any other field, is utilize any of the slurry that we have, because we do have a slurry spreader, to put down on this field. I don't know how much we have right now. Oh, they're out of food. Oh, shit. That's not good. All right, well, that changes everything. We have got to get them food quickly. They are out of food. I did not realize they were that close to out of food. I would have given them food between the last episode and now. That is not good. We're not producing any slurry. We're not producing any milk. Those are all bad situations for us. We got to get some TMR in there quickly. I thought we had, you know, given them plenty of TMR, but I guess that's not the case. Wow, okay. Anyway, my point was going to say is I'm going to try to utilize some of that slurry for the big field there. 28,000 liters of slurry. It's not a ton. It's probably not going to get the whole field, unfortunately. But we will do what we can to get as much of the field as possible. One thing we all correctly pointed out, and well, you all correctly pointed out, and I found out really during the edit, was that that slurry spreader is actually a much wider width than what it says it is, which that's fine, I guess. Little unrealistic, but whatever. It is what it is. I've bought it now. I've utilized it now, so I'm just going to keep using it. There should be plenty of stuff in here. Yeah, there's plenty. I'm not worried about that. Yeah, we've got the silage and all that stuff on distributing. There's not much in there, to be fair. There's not much left in there. So, yeah, the grass is going to have to happen sooner than we think now because the cows are starting to really chew through this TMR, right? They don't even have any meadow grass. They ate all the meadow grass even. Alright, their health should be jumping back up here now. Obviously, it's going to take a couple of... And they're almost ready to reproduce, which is, well, these aren't, but these are. So that's good. We'll get some more cows that way. So yeah, the sheep are going to be right over here. I'm actually probably going to get rid of 2 of these trees right here. If I get rid of, well, that's doing that. I'll show you. If I get rid of this tree here and this tree here, I think I can place them perfectly kind of right here, right behind the TMR mixer, if you will. And then I'm going to kind of carry the fence all the way down here and then up and around and through the trees and back down. So they'll have some high hills if they want to be up there, a little bit of a flatter land down here underneath in the shade, and then some side hill. Well, I guess, well, it's still a hill, but not as severe of a steep hill, I guess, with open grass pasture if they wanted as well, right? So we've got lots of manure over there. We don't have anything to do with the manure yet, though. We need to focus on getting something, manure spreader, something like that. We just don't have tons of money right now. We can sell some of these pallets that have spawned of the watermelons and the melons. We have to do it by hand, but we can do that. We probably will do that. If it's today, if it's not today, next episode. But we will probably do that just to get ourselves a little bit more money that will help us. But the manure spreader, I was hoping we'd find something in the used market. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Manure spreaders are hit or miss, right? You can find a couple of them that are decently priced, but it doesn't hold that much. Realistically, I think we want one that's going to hold a decent amount. Similar to what our slurry spreader is now. Obviously, we'd like to upgrade that slurry spreader at some point to a wider capacity. Now, to be fair, it does have the ability to do a wider capacity. It has the unrealistic approach. I'm not quite sure I'm going to utilize that, even though this spread right now seems to be unrealistic. It wasn't the intention, right? But the capacity definitely had the ability to do unrealistic. So we'll see. I guess we'll see on all that. I guess is how I will put it. We will see. TMR. Yeah, we're almost out of TMR actually in here. So we're going to need to let that do its thing for a little bit longer here. And it is still adding more into it, and it's still chewing through it, so that's good. So this is going to be the last load we have to the cows for right now, but yeah, we're going to have to keep that going. But the cows should be good for a little while now because they're going to have 45,000 liters of TMR in here, so they should be good for a while now. Look at them. They're just having fun. The cow's just having a whole lot of fun. Look at them jumping around everywhere. All right, perfect. So, we'll go put this back away. We're going to finish up the stones here, and then, like I said, we will throw, I think, canola. I think we're going to do canola in this field. That means it's going to be sitting here for a while, because canola does take a while. That's okay. We're okay with that. Yeah, we'll do canola. Especially because it's early season here. You know, it's February, right? So I think putting canola in it, letting it sit there and grow for a while, and then probably be ready to harvest it August or September, maybe. And then we know that canola is ready to sell in November, right? So I think that's going to be the best setup for us. Maybe by then we'll have some kind of a mill that we can put down and turn it into, you know, canola oil, maybe, right? But we'll see. Nonetheless, we've got to get going. We got to get this done. You know what we got to do. Let's get to work on it. Shouldn't take too much longer. We got most of that done, and we actually got the entire cotton field down there fully fertilized with all the slurry. That was great. We put the remaining of it here over on the canola field. It's not going to be the entire field, but a portion of that field will at least have a nice, 100% fertilization, well, as close as you can be to 100%. So that'll be nice, right? That'll be really good for us. That'll be helpful because this portion's only got 50%. Come over here. 100% fertilized with a 97% yield bonus. That cotton field, obviously, those are the ones we're going to want to focus on more. I probably could have just kept the remainder of this into the actual slurry spreader itself until, this field is ready to harvest. But, yeah, whatever. We went ahead and put it down. No big deal. And it's going to be a nice little addition, right, to the canola field. So that'll be good. So, okay, so that's done. So let's unhook this. The worker is finishing up the drilling over there. I decided to go with the green bean route over there again. We're going to sell the remaining melon and watermelons that we have here that are, because, you know, as I mentioned, that's on auto selling now. So we're just going to go ahead and sell those now. Help fund the bank account a little bit more. I moved some of the eggs out of the way as well during that time lapse, which I'm sure you saw. It's February, man. We're close. We are close to selling the clothes again, right? We get 2 months. Essentially, it's going to be 2 episodes, really, for us. Look at all that cotton, man. That's going to be phenomenal for us. We're going to make so much money off of that. Speaking of the cotton, I think... Yeah, they're still cruising along here. I can turn this one off, though. It did chew through all of that, so that's good. Now, we're not going to have enough money, like I mentioned earlier on in the episode, we're not going to have enough money to move the sheep over and do the things that I want to do with the sheep for a little while. I already have the stone picker over there kind of staged to go and sell. We'll probably sell that at the beginning of the next episode or near the beginning of the next episode, if nothing else. Cannot hook it into the back of this trailer, so it's going to have to kind of wait. Probably not doing the best job of stacking these. I'm probably going to move this one slightly over a little bit because we're going to probably need the room here since we get a decent amount. Let me maneuver these around a little bit, make it a little bit better here. Does not need to be perfect. We just need to make sure they can all fit up here. Anybody watch, at the time of this recording at least, anybody watch the Indianapolis race, the Indy race in D.C.? I did not get a chance to watch it, unfortunately, today. We had some plans with family, cousins, and things like that, so unfortunately I didn't get to watch it, but I will be checking out the highlights here later on today. The winner was already kind of spoiled for me. I ended up hopping on social media, and it spoiled it for me almost immediately, which was a bit of a shame, but that's okay. I like Indy. I like Indy races. I try to go to the Indianapolis 500 every year, but it doesn't always happen, but I try. You know, it's not too far away, Indy, from where I live. It's a pretty quick drive over there. It's about an hour and a half to, somewhere between an hour and a half, 2 hours. So nothing crazy. So we do try to go to that often. It's a lot of fun. When I was there in D.C. recently, I think I mentioned to you, most of you at least, that have watched for a little while, that I was heading to D.C. We were going to watch the Cincinnati Reds play the Washington Nationals there with my mom. Taking her on her yearly trip. We take her to a new stadium every year. And when we were there, there was some remnants of them starting to begin work on that, but they really hadn't done anything yet to begin that work yet. But I really don't even know the track at all, but, you know, it's something I would at least be watching. I normally only watch the Indianapolis 500, and I normally watch a few other races, but I don't really watch many others than that. Indianapolis 500 is amazing, man. It's the largest spectator sport in the world. 500 to 600,000 people go to that race. It's pretty nuts. It's pretty nuts. Pretty sure that's how they keep the entire series afloat, is just from that one race alone. Anyway, here we go. Let's see what we get. 14,000. Not bad. We'll take that. 14,000 is good. That gets us up to 36,000. That's a much more comfortable spot to be in. And with all of that said, we are going to leave the episode here. I had mentioned that I wasn't going to do the experimental field today. We ended up going ahead and doing so. We've got a lot of other things realistically that we want to do, though, that we're going to be focused on in the next episode. Like I said, I don't think this field will be ready to harvest in the next episode. Could be wrong. I don't think it will be. Next episode, we're going to be focusing on probably getting some mowing done, get that new plot of land that we purchased up here, 62, get it mowed up, and then probably start plowing it, and maybe even put something in the ground, too, while we're at it. We'll see. But nonetheless, that is going to be the next step, the next phase here of this series. So we'll leave it here. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, smash the like, subscribe button in case you get to do so. Thanks to our members for all the continued support. We'll see you next time, gang.